You're not lost, you're just done playing their game. That tightness in your chest, it's not confusion, it's clarity, raw, unfiltered, screaming through the silence. A silence you've been forced to keep while pretending everything still made sense. It doesn't, and you know it. But they've taught you to label that clarity as being lost. Because the moment you stop obeying their rules, they need to pathologize you. Directionless, unmotivated, disconnected. As if refusing to keep running toward a cliff was a failure. They want you in motion, any motion, because motion distracts. But you've stopped. You're no longer chasing what they told you to want. You're no longer clapping for performances that make you sick. You're no longer applauding mediocrity in exchange for acceptance. And so, they panic. You became dangerous the moment you stopped asking for permission. Because now you see the game. The artificial structures, the invisible scripts, the roles they assigned you at birth. You were never lost. You were misdirected, intentionally. They told you who to be before you ever had the chance to become. And now that you're waking up, they call it a crisis. But it's not a crisis, it's a rebellion. This discomfort is not dysfunction, it's a death. The death of the version of you they built, obedient, efficient, hollow. And in that void, something terrifying is being born. You. They'll say you're giving up, that you're losing your way, but the truth is you were never on your way. You were on theirs. And now you've stopped playing. You've stepped off the board. You're watching them chase illusions while you burn the rulebook. This isn't failure. This is freedom. You're not lost. You're just done pretending that their game has any value left. And that truth, that unbearable, liberating truth, is the beginning of everything. Let the collapse continue. It means you're finally waking up. There's a moment, silent, slow, and merciless, when the world stops making sense. Not because it changed, but because you did. You wake up one day and everything feels hollow. The work, the conversations, the routines, all of it reeks of performance. And you can't pretend anymore. You try to explain, but the words betray you. Because how do you describe the agony of watching everyone play along, while you sit there knowing the script is fake? You're surrounded by noise, but no one's saying anything real. You're surrounded by people, but you've never felt more alone. And so you isolate, not because you hate the world, but because you can't tolerate its emptiness. You watch them smile with dead eyes, celebrate fake victories, chase goals they didn't choose, and the worst part? You used to be one of them. This isn't sadness, it's awareness. The unbearable weight of seeing through the illusion and realizing they're still asleep. Nietzsche called it the transvaluation of all values, when the old meanings die but the new ones haven't been born yet. It's not confusion, it's a psychological void, a desert of meaning, and in that desert, you wander. Not because you're lost, but because there is no path. Not for those who've seen the truth. You've outgrown their gods, their metrics, their shallow comforts, and now every step you take feels heavy, because it carries the burden of building a new world from the ashes of the old. People look at you and see failure, but what they don't see is the corpse you buried, the obedient version of yourself that smiled on cue, stayed in line, and died a little each day. You're not lazy, you're mourning. You're mourning the years you gave to a system that never saw you. You're grieving the energy spent becoming someone you were never meant to be. But buried beneath that grief is power. Because the moment you realize there's no going back, you stop trying to fit in and start learning how to rise. This is the silent agony of the awakened. And it's only the beginning. They told you life was a game, but they never told you who created the rules, who set the board, who profits every time you move forward in their direction. From the moment you could speak, you were being programmed to follow, to adapt, to win at a game designed for your compliance. Go to school, get the grades, follow the path, climb the ladder they built, then spend your life defending a throne that was never yours. But what happens when you stop playing? When you look around and see the truth? That every move, every reward, every punishment was meant to keep you inside the game, not to liberate you, to condition you. This is where Nietzsche enters, not as a philosopher, but as a detonator. He didn't come to comfort you. He came to burn the map, to destroy the old values, to kill the illusions that kept humanity sleepwalking through life. God is dead, he said. Not because there is no divine, but because the structures that once gave life meaning have rotted from the inside. The church, the state, the family, the identity, all of it, illusions. Illusions dressed as morality, disguised as duty, sold to you as truth. And now that you see it, the collapse is inevitable. The center cannot hold, because the center was hollow all along. But Nietzsche didn't stop at destruction. He offered a path, brutal, personal, untamed. Become who you are, not who they told you to be, not who you pretended to be, but something wild, something sovereign, something that answers to no game, no rule, no master. The Übermensch, not a man, not a hero, but a state of being, a creature who no longer needs the game to feel alive. And here's the terrifying truth. To become that version of yourself, you must let the old one die. Publicly, ruthlessly, completely, because the player only rises when the pawn is destroyed. And they will resist. They will beg you to come back, to rejoin the game, to be normal again. But normal is just another word for numb. And you've already tasted something more. You're not confused. You're shedding the skin of your conditioning. You're not broken. You're becoming untamed. This is not the end of the game. This is the beginning of you. So now what? You've seen the game for what it is, rigged, shallow, and designed to keep you small. You've walked off the stage, but you're still surrounded by actors, still watched by an audience waiting for you to return to the script. The question is no longer why you want out. It's how to stay out, without losing yourself in the chaos. Tactic 1. Reject recognition as currency. They taught you that validation is proof of success, that applause equals worth, that being seen means being valuable. But the moment you stop craving recognition, you take back your sovereignty. You become untouchable. They can't reward you if you no longer play for prizes. Tactic 2. Create new values from the wreckage. Nietzsche called it the revaluation of all values. Once the old gods die, new ones must be born. But they won't come from the world. They'll come from you. Not from tradition, not from morality, from your chaos, from your instincts. From that inner fire no one taught you to trust. You don't need commandments, you need creation. Tactic 3. Weaponize your silence. In a world addicted to performance, silence is rebellion. Stop explaining your choices. Stop announcing your transformation. Stop negotiating your freedom. Let your absence say what your words never could. I owe you nothing. Tactic 4. Trade goals for experiments. Forget 5-year plans. Forget productivity. Forget chasing the illusion of achievement. What if your only mission was to feel alive again, to try, to explore, to taste, to become unpredictable even to yourself? That's where the real game begins. When you stop playing to win and start playing to awaken. Tactic 5. Embrace exile as power. They'll call you selfish, detached, dangerous, and they'll be right. Because you no longer fit inside their cages. You've become wild. And the wild are never welcome inside systems that survive on obedience. Let them exile you. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Your absence will haunt them louder than your presence ever could. These are not survival tools, they're weapons. Psychological warfare against the part of you that still wants to be accepted. Because make no mistake, that part must die. If you want peace, stay in the game. If you want truth, prepare for war. You are not here to conform, you are here to burn everything false, including the version of you that played along. Leave the stage, burn the costume, forget the script. Let silence follow you like smoke. And when they ask why you disappeared, just smile and say, I finally realized the play was never worth my soul. There comes a moment, violent, silent, irreversible, when the mask no longer fits. Not because it changed, but because you did. And now wearing it feels like suffocation. You've spent years perfecting a version of yourself that was never real. A persona built for survival, polished for approval, engineered for applause. And it worked, until it didn't. Now every compliment feels like poison. Every smile a performance. Every I'm fine a quiet betrayal. Because you're not fine. You're rotting beneath the mask, and something inside you is ready to kill it. Nietzsche asked the most brutal question of all: if you had to live this exact life again, every pain, every lie, every compromise, would you say yes? If your answer is no, then the false self must die. Not slowly, not symbolically, completely. Because as long as it lives, you can't. The you that stayed quiet to keep the peace. The you that chased dreams you didn't choose. The you that waited for permission to exist. That self, the obedient one, the polished one, the predictable one, was never you. It was your cage. And now, it's time to destroy it. But don't expect applause. This isn't a transformation they'll celebrate. Because killing the false self means becoming a threat to everything built on conformity. You'll be called unstable. You'll be called arrogant. You'll be called insane. Let them speak. They don't understand the sacred violence of self-reclamation. They fear what you've dared to do, look in the mirror and whisper, "You're a lie, and I'm done playing you." This is not reinvention. This is resurrection. And resurrection only comes after death. So bury the persona, write its eulogy in silence, mourn it. Not because it was real, but because it protected you when you didn't know better. But now you know, now you see, and now you choose. Not to be liked, not to be understood, but to be real. The false self must die, so the real one can finally breathe. No more pretending, no more performing, no more waiting. It's over. And you are finally free to begin. You were never lost. You were just waking up in a world that fears people who stop pretending. They gave you a script, a role, a path paved with expectations, and for a while you walked it, smiling, performing, surviving. But now, you've stopped, and they don't know what to do with you. Because you're not chasing titles. You're not asking for approval. You're not playing their game anymore. And when you refuse the game, you terrify the players. You remind them that everything they believe in is optional. That the system only works if everyone agrees to lie. That the applause is hollow, the trophies are meaningless, and the race leads nowhere. They want you back in line, silent, productive, predictable. But you've tasted something different, something they can't control. Self-authorship, the courage to choose your own rhythm, to live without permission, to burn the script and write your own story, even if no one understands it, especially if no one understands it. Because real freedom doesn't beg to be seen. It doesn't announce itself. It moves in silence. It lives in defiance. You're not here to fit in. You're here to wake up, to break the illusion, to reclaim your time, your voice, your essence, not for applause, but for truth. So let them stare. Let them gossip. Let them call you lost. They only say that because they don't recognize someone who's not for sale. You didn't lose your way. You escaped theirs. And now, you walk forward, alone, untamed, unchained. Not to arrive anywhere, but simply to become. Let the world keep spinning in circles. You're done with the performance. No more stage, no more script, no more mask. You didn't come here to play their game. You came to end it. And now that you've seen the truth, there's only one thing left to do. Step out, stay out, and never bow again.